So I'm in Tel Aviv, Israel, which is considered the gay capital of the Middle East. Now, I didn't even know that Tel Aviv referred to itself as that until I was on my way here and did some research at the airport. And I took it with a grain of salt at first because, a lot of places call themselves the capital of this or the city known for that or whatever. But I have to say, it really is an accurate portrayal. I mean, it was really refreshing coming here after the other Middle Eastern countries where I was, where there are restrictions, being gay, and there's a level of discomfort. Here, it's incredibly gay. Like every 5 to 10 blocks, I would say, I've seen a rainbow flag hanging, whether it was a gay bar or a gay-friendly establishment. It's a really nice feeling to feel at ease in the Middle East after, like I said, being in the countries where I was. There are also just so many gay men. Like, I'm shocked by how many gay men are around me on these apps, whether it's Grindr or Scruff or Tinder. I think out of all the places that I visited this whole trip, Mexico, Greece, Turkey, here, Egypt, all these countries, I think there has been the biggest concentration of gay men here, just based on how many profiles I have seen on these apps. And they're quite good looking as well, these men. Kind of like a rugged, bearded vibe here. It's the Middle East, but it's also close to the Mediterranean, so there's kind of like a mix of phenotypes that you see, and men are very appealing. So I checked out a few bars here, and they were fine. I don't think there was anything remarkable about them. They very much reminded me of the kind of bars you see in America. One of them that I went to was very typical, like, campy gay bar. They were playing Eurovision songs the whole night. Another one I went to reminded me more of like the nicer, more upscale, if we can call them that, gay bars in New York City, like the more posh, sort of clean and yuppie oriented ones. But I didn't actually talk to anybody at the bars. Not that I made much of an effort myself, to be honest. I didn't spend much time at the bars, but I have been talking to all these guys on these apps this week. So that's the beauty, of technology now, that you don't need to rely necessarily on these public areas to meet others that you want to connect to. It's been a total ego boost for me here with the apps, just how many guys I've been communicating with. And it's funny because it's yet again another Middle Eastern city where I'm just like blown away by how many men reach out and how many conversations get going on these apps, whether it's Tinder or Grindr or whatever. Unlike some of the countries that I was just in, Grindr is not banned here in Tel Aviv. The interesting thing about the culture here is it's very direct. It's very like in your face. So nobody beats around the bush. When it comes to talking on apps, people are very clear with their intentions, and they're very quick to be proactive and be like, let's meet tonight, let's meet tomorrow at this time. And I appreciate that because it's nice to be in a place where it's transparent and people do what they want to do, and it's not a bunch of like, obstacles and games and confusion, which I find it typically is more like that in America. That being said, it's also definitely like a double-edged sword here, because I think with that oftentimes comes a lack of tact and charm and like decorum. So there have been guys that I've been talking to on Tinder, and the conversation was very innocent, and Tinder in my mind is more date-oriented than an app like Grindr. And some of these guys on Tinder would randomly drop like sex-related questions while we're talking, or say like, so are you looking for sex? Is that why you're here? So I appreciate the honesty, but it was also kind of jarring for me to be somewhere where there just isn't always the same kind of politeness in the conversation with somebody you're attracted to. I mean, obviously, if you end up meeting somebody at a bar and there's a connection, then you guys feel it and you decide, whether you want to keep hanging out or not. But here it's more like they want to know what they're getting themselves into. I would say probably out of any city I've ever been to, domestically or internationally, it seems easiest to meet men here, just based on how many conversations I've had going and how many men I've already met. Overall, gay dating here seems like a blast because that directness of the culture here makes it so that there's less bullshit and people actually want to meet up and interact, and it's a very social culture here in Tel Aviv. It's a nightlife city. So I know I've made videos in the past saying that, gay dating is really fun in Rio de Janeiro and that London seems like a great place to date, but I have to say that Tel Aviv, when it comes to just being a gay person and wanting to be around other gay people who are looking for the same things, whether it's dates or hookups or whatever, or maybe even friendships, there really is a community here, and I don't think any of the other cities I've been to have such a accessible gay dating community, I guess, if we can call it that. So I definitely recommend a visit to Tel Aviv if you want to travel to this part of the country, or if, let's say, you want to go to a Middle Eastern country but you're not sure where it would be comfortable as a gay person. I would most definitely recommend Tel Aviv in Israel.